Oh, God.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Daler. I'm the Spring Training Program Director for the hashtag STP22, the 2022 Indy Runners, Indy Walkers Half Marathon Spring Training Program. We are doing this training for our coaches to understand what our roles are as coaches for this season. And so I'm going to share my screen and we'll do a little PowerPoint presentation. And if anybody has any questions as we go through, please interrupt and ask your questions. That is perfectly fine. So let's see here. I'm going to go here and share this thing. And we'll start the slideshow. So you all should see coaches training, Indy Runners and Walkers Spring Half Marathon Training Program. Is that what you are seeing right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, very good. It's working, it's working. Okay, so to start with, these are our goals for the program itself, for the spring training program. What we want to do with the Indy Runners and Indy Walkers spring training program is to help all runners and walkers of all abilities and experience levels to, number one, complete a spring half marathon or other race. Number two, increase fitness and training knowledge and experience. And number three, develop relationships with other runners and walkers. And so kind of, it's a fairly simple set of goals, but again, we want to complete the half marathon, we want to increase knowledge, and we want to develop relationships because we want to be a welcoming group. We want people to feel like these are some people that they want to hang out with. So what are coaches' goals? So in the effort of getting people to those overall goals, we really have just two goals for us as coaches. And those goals are to help walkers and runners feel welcomed and to be a resource for information and encouragement. So we'll talk a little bit more about how we plan to get that done in just a moment. We're going to review a little bit here, and that is kind of reviewing a little bit about the program this year and how it might be a little different from previous years. So we've done a lot of discussion over the last 3 years, really, but then kind of culminating in the last quarter of 2021 with a committee of people who have said, well, who are we? Who is it that participates in this program? And the people that participate are people who walk, and it's runners that want to finish a half marathon, and it's runners that want to get faster as they finish a half marathon. So there are some people who they participate in the spring training program. Kathy, you might be one of these that just say, look, these are my friends. I'm going to spend January through May hanging out with my buddies on Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings. We're going to go for a run together, and we're going to hang out and talk. And you know, these are people that we share something in common with, that we like to get outside, we like to run, we like to be able to finish a half marathon. Other people are interested in getting faster. So our program offers something for each level, whether it's walkers, runners that want to finish, or runners that want to get faster. So we have a training schedule, and I think I'm going to click the link. We'll see how well this works. I didn't test it in advance. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. This is available on the indyrunners.org website, this training schedule. Can you all see on the video now the I Want to Get Faster training program schedule? Is that what you're seeing?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Very good. All right. So I'm just going to spend a second here on this. These are available on the Indy Runners website. These are, and you know, for some of you like Kathy and Andrew and Craig who are watching on a phone, it's very small. I recognize that. You'll find these on the Spring Training Program website. They are downloadable PDF files. When you download them, if you choose to print them, you can certainly do that. They are formatted to fit an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And it runs from our first day of running, which is Tuesday, the 18th of January, all the way through the Indy Mini in May. And it has not just runs when we are together on Tuesday and on Saturday. And by the way, this program does meet on Tuesdays and Saturdays, unlike in the past when it was either just on Tuesdays, or in the last 2 years, we started to meet a few times on Saturdays as well. This is the whole time, Tuesdays and Saturdays all the way through. The first month, we are basically building a base of fitness. And so we're running at a conversational pace, and we'll get more into that in a second. Then when we get into the second month, then on the 14th of February, excuse me, the 15th of February, we're going to do some 1 mile warm up. And then we're going to do 4 by 400 meters of interval training at a level 3 to 4, which is faster. And we'll get into that in a moment as well.
Oh,
Kathy's now getting kicked out of the bathroom. And then we're going to do a cool down. So from that point on, February 15th on, Tuesday nights will be about building strength and speed. And that's all I really wanted to do to talk about that. So I'm going to go back to the slideshow. And that's where this whole program philosophy of level of effort comes in. During the spring training program, like I said, in that first month, we're going to be running slow, and then we're going to be running fast on Tuesday nights when we move through the program. So what does that look like? The 5 levels of effort are: level 1 is you can run all day long. You can carry on a conversation with the people who you are running with. You're running at about a 70% level of effort. If you think about a 0% level of effort is you sitting on the couch doing nothing, then a 70% level of effort is you're out running, but you're running slowly enough that you could carry on a conversation. Level 2, you can still carry on a conversation, but you can probably hold this pace for a half marathon, but not much longer. Level 3, you can talk in phrases, but you got to take a breath in between, during a sentence, in the middle of a sentence. You might be able to run a quarter marathon at this pace. You're at about a 90% level of effort. You're putting some effort in here. Level 4 is you're running so hard that you can only speak a word or two at a time before you have to take another breath. You're running at a 95% level of effort. And then level 5 is, this is a sprint. This is the pedal to the metal. This is, you're running like 100 yards or 200 yards maybe. You can't really talk during this period of time. You can only just run and breathe. It's 100% level of effort. So you'll see these noted on the spring training schedule, the training schedule that is there on the website for people to download. So let's go back to coaches. What does it mean to use this information about what our goals are for the training program, and what does it mean as far as using these levels of effort? What it means is you need to know what today's workout is and what level of effort that we're running at. And we'll meet as a coach group prior to the run. And so if the runs on Tuesdays are at 6 o'clock, so we'll meet at 5:45, kind of in the hallway by the restrooms there at Hinkle, and discuss what today's workout is. And so your job then is, as you are out there with runners, if they are sprinting, you have to say, look, I'm the coach, and he told me today was going to be a level 1 conversational pace. You don't want to sprint. You need to slow it down. And so we need you to help kind of guide people. So part of it is talking, but part of it is listening. What are, you can ask people, hey, what are your goals? Are you planning to PR on your next half marathon? How many half marathons have you run? Is this your first half marathon? You want to listen to what they have to say. What are their goals? and then offer advice and especially encouragement, because I can't tell you how many times I've been out on a spring training run with people, and they're coming up, they're chugging up that hill, that last hill up to Hinkle Fieldhouse, and maybe they've been out there for a while, and this is the first hill that they really encountered on this course, and they're struggling. And so it's so great to be able to offer some encouragement, and when they get up that hill, to congratulate them on their success. I remember this one participant that I spoke with who said, when we got done, she said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for helping me to get up that hill. We just ran 6 miles." She said, "Did you know that that's the furthest I've ever run in my life?" And she was in her late 50s. And she said, "I set a goal for myself to run a half marathon this year. And every Tuesday night from now on, I'll be setting a new goal or a new record for how long I've run." And that encouragement is so valuable to especially the people who are running for the very first time. But you don't really, it's hard to know how to encourage people unless you know something about them. And so it's great to ask them questions to learn more about what their thing is. So other things that you can do is kind of lead by example. Attend some of the seminars. We'll be having seminars most Tuesday nights throughout the whole program, and they will usually occur, about the time when the slowest of runners will be finishing, so that everybody has the opportunity to participate. You can participate by offering encouragement and advice or listening outside of runs as well. And so if Indy Runners is holding a social event, participate in those and talk to people, meet people and welcome them, and go to races. The Indy Runners has the Groundhog races that are coming up in February, the Sam Costa races that are coming up in March, and the Bulldog Jog in April. So there's races once a month where you can go and either participate and encourage people, or be there as a volunteer and to cheer people on. Finally, we just started a new Strava group. So for those of you who have a Garmin or other watch that is a GPS watch that is connecting to the internet and is feeding to Strava, which is a social media network for people like us, whether you're runners or walkers or swimmers or bikers. But we've got an Indy Runners and Walkers in Training. That's the label of this group, the Strava group. If you join that group, coaches can do a great thing by just liking people's runs, occasionally commenting on people's runs that you've met that are part of the Indy Runners group, congratulating them on a particular victory that they have had. It's another way that you can play that role as a coach outside of the actual runs themselves. So it's brand new. I think there's only 10 people or something like that in the group so far. More people, I'm sure, will join in as we learn about it. That Strava group is there. Not everybody is on Strava. Not everyone uses a GPS watch. So we also don't want to leave people out. So obviously we know that not everybody's there. So we need to encourage people in other ways. That wherever they are, that's where we should be. Coaches' roles on Tuesdays. In phase one is the first month, which is January the 18th through that first run, February 15th is when we first do an interval workout. Before that February 15th run, we are running at level of effort number 1. And so it's a slow, steady pace. If you didn't see my video on the Magic Mile, you should look at that. I was flabbergasted to learn that I run my long, slow runs far too fast. And we should all be running slow to run fast later. And what we want to do is build that fitness base so that when we do run fast, our muscles are conditioned and we're not going to get injuries as easily. It won't hurt as much when we start to run fast. We're kind of ready for running fast. So that's the pace that we'll be running. We want to, again, talk and listen to people, provide advice and encouragement, and run slow and steady. Notice I'm not saying pace. We've changed that in our program. We're no longer pacers, we are coaches. And the reason is that people focus too much on pace. They said to themselves, well, I want to run whatever your goal race was for a spring half marathon. And so they felt like they had to run their race pace in the training run on Tuesdays. That's what I did when I first joined the program 5 years ago. And I started running at my race pace. And then at the end of the program, I realized I ran a race every Tuesday night for 16 weeks. That's not the way we should do it. So we're trying to tone down the thinking around pace and instead concentrate on level of effort and make sure that people are running at that conversational pace for the first month. And then when we start phase 2, then we are going to ramp up and we're going to do level 3 or 4 for instance, on February 15th for those 400 meter runs. We'll run at level 1 on the way out. We'll run 400 meters at level 3 or 4, which is a hard pace where you can only speak a few words at a time before having to take a breath. And then level 1 cool down on the way back to Hinkle Fieldhouse. Again, offering advice and encouragement and helping people through maybe this new experience. Many people do not do speed or strength training when they run. Some of us do this on a regular basis, some of us do not. Saturdays, and coaches, we encourage you to run both days if you can, but we completely understand if you cannot. If you want to concentrate on Tuesdays and leave Saturdays to others, that's just fine. But Saturdays are going to be our long, slow run. And so this is where we do level 1 effort, the steady, slow pace. And this is where we're going to bump up our mileage. On Tuesday nights, we're not going to get over 6 miles on any of our runs. On Saturdays, we'll go up to 11 miles. And in fact, I think for those that want to get faster, I think we even have a 12-mile run in there. One of the things that we are telling those that want to get faster people is that they can kind of go for extra credit on a Tuesday run or on a Saturday run. And so on Saturday runs, if you want some extra credit, you want to get faster, then finish the last 2 miles at your half marathon race pace. That trains you to run at your half marathon race pace, and it also gives you the opportunity to do some harder work while you've got tired legs. So this is an important thing for those that want to get faster. For those that want to just finish, it's perfectly fine to run a level 1 steady, slow pace, conversational pace effort for your entire long run. That's perfectly fine. All right. Nearing the end of our program, before we ask for questions, why are you coaches? Well, here's why you're coaches. You get a free membership to Indy Runners out of the deal. That's not so bad. I promise that there's going to be some cool Indy Runners swag at the end of the program for those of you coaches who are able to make it through. We'll have some nice stuff for you. One of my favorite Indy Runners things is my blue quarter zip pullover kind of a sweatshirt thing from Indy Runners that I got from being a coach several years ago. I can't tell you what we're going to do this year yet. I actually don't know. One of the things we've done in the past is just offer some store credit at the Indy Runners store, and it's a nice amount of credit. So that's another reason that you could be motivated to be a coach. For me, it just feels good to help, and I'm helping people to accomplish their goals. That really is my reason for doing this. I think it's fun to see people accomplish their goals, and it makes me feel like I helped them in some small way. So that's an important thing to me. That is the end of the slide deck. So Andrew, Craig, Nina, questions. What questions do you have about being a coach?
Jeff, Craig and Andrew had a question. They've already renewed their memberships. Who should they talk to about that?
That's a great question that I literally don't have the answer to, but if we could talk to Tracy, or I'm trying to remember who the membership chair is, and I don't remember. So
is it Trina?
Might be Trina. Yeah, that could very well be. One, if you send me an email, I will get it to someone who will get it to the right person who will get back to you, and we'll make sure that that we make that happen. So yeah, I mean, you all deserve a thank you. This is a commitment, and we want, to be. I mean, we certainly recognize that life gets in the way, and it's not possible to make it to every single Tuesday night or Saturday morning. I know that I will be. I'm actually right now. I'm in my son's house in Crystal, Minnesota, in his basement. I'm out of town. I can't. I will not be at every single Tuesday run. At least with a virtual expo, I can be there. But a virtual run will be harder. We want to run in person, and so I won't be there every single Tuesday night. I don't expect that our coaches will be there every single Tuesday night or every single Saturday morning, but we want you to make it to a majority of them, to be able to to get the job done and to help people on their path towards setting meeting their goal, their running goal for this spring.
There was one more question that I got about some people are not comfortable gathering in Hinkle. So even some of the coaches are not. So I think that's going to be a week by week thing as far as not only Butler's rules, but the progression of COVID and how people are feeling. We do need to say that masks are going to be required in Hinkle if you're not running. Some people just want to slip in and go to the restroom and come back out, even coaches. So our coaches meeting might have to take place right outside the doors. Depending, we have to be flexible.
I think you're right. And it is where are we today in the situation? And I totally agree. Of course, safety is the number one thing. We want people to be safe, not just when they're out there running, but also we want people to be safe and not, exposing themselves to COVID or to any other disease for that matter. So for those people who are uncomfortable coming inside of Hinkle, we're encouraging all of our runners, whether it's coaches or participants, that if they don't want to come in, if they don't feel comfortable being inside, absolutely meet us outside, and we will be kind of strung out at the start. We're going to do more of a festival start for runs this year, as opposed to having the pace group start that we've had in the past. But it's not going to look very much different, really, because obviously we want the faster people to start in the front and the slower people to start in the back, and we'll kind of stretch ourselves out, and Terry Townsend will give us the go sign, and we'll just take off, but being kind of spread out all across the kind of the front of the field house. Yeah, good question. absolutely meeting outside if you're not comfortable. And for coaches, yeah, let's do that. Let's meet at 5:45, you know, outside of the field house, and still leaving space for people to get in to use the restroom if they need to. Other questions that you can think of? Anything that came into your head as we were going through the slide deck?
No, sounds pretty straightforward. Just listening, talking to people, encouraging.
Trying to anticipate any questions anyone else who's not on the Zoom might have, but
Yeah.
listening and you're not on the Zoom, sorry if we didn't ask your question.
One of the things that I do know is that Andrew, you're a pretty quick runner. Craig, you're not as quick as Andrew.
Well,
You
thank
guys
you.
will be. Yeah.
But Craig, in the realm of coaches, you're actually one of the fastest. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, and we really appreciate both of you.
Yeah. We do want coaches that are kind of spread out in their abilities as far as how fast or how slow you might run. You know, Nina, you know, what's your kind of typical pace, race or training pace, I guess?
Training pace is around 12.
Sure. And
Yeah,
and there's lots of people that are between 8 and 15 for running. And then of course our walkers are the paces are basically between about 15 and 20-ish or so.
right.
And so we do need people at every level. And I know that Nina, you've said as you're tracking this, that we're short on runners that are running at around that, you know, 8 to 10 minute pace or so. So
Right.
we could use a few more coaches. And so if you run into people that are planning on participating in the program, please invite them to sign up and be a coach. They can go to the Indy Runners website, onto the spring training program page, click the email address for the half marathon training program coordinator, and that's me, and I'll get an email, and we'll get you set up. So for anybody that's that wants to be a coach, you're welcome to do that.
And I'm sorry that I went to spam. You know, it's rare that somebody considers me spam before they meet me, but yeah, I'm glad you were persistent, because we wouldn't have figured that out.
Thank you.
Well, this is, I think then, you know, I don't have any other words of wisdom. I do know this, that regardless of the pandemic, regardless of the weather, regardless of how cold it is or how rainy it is or how snowy it is, we're going to have a lot of fun, because that's what Indy runners and Indy walkers do. And I just love that. We're going to get together on some Tuesday night, and it's going to be, you know, 15-mile-an-hour wind with snow coming down and 27 degrees and fairly uncomfortable. And we're going to go out there and we're still going to have a good time. And one of the things that that prepares you to run a spring half marathon is running in challenging conditions. These are good opportunities to build character. And when you sign up for a program like this, sometimes on a day that you might not have gone outside on your own, you go, well, I can't let down my buddies. I got to be there. And so this is a way to motivate people to go out on those character building days when maybe you wouldn't go out on your own. So, any last thoughts before we go?
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, coaches, and much appreciated. And I can't wait to see you 1 week from tomorrow at our first training run on the 18th of January.
And see you tomorrow at the expo.
There you go. Yes, yes, yes. All right.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.